Hey, everybody. How are you? I am Bill Merkh, and welcome to Outside the Sanctuary. Today, I have a dais. I have a group of people.
That's like your new word now. You learned it.
I learned a dais. Did I just learn it?
It's like word of the day toilet paper or something.
No, I've done roasts.
That was a good joke.
Oh,
yeah.
Better than the
Better than the first.
All right, so here we go. So, why don't you go around? We go around the room and introduce ourselves. So I'm not the only one talking, and I'll stop now. Go ahead. Who are you?
Marc McCleary.
Lisa Merkh.
Katrina McDonald.
And we are going to be your host this evening or this morning or whenever you're listening. But we thank you for listening, and it's always awesome, and you know, I really appreciate it. So today's topic is divorce. And are you making noise? Making a little music?
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Just
dun,
some
dun.
sound effects. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I've been divorced, but let's start the let's start the podcast right. Go ahead, Doc.
Well, I mean, it's one of those subjects. Is like, where do you start to jump into?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's a little bit
After marriage.
What's that? Look at all the
that was funny.
Thanks.
But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is kind of the view on how the church views people who have gone through divorce. I think that's
that's actually what we're talking about.
Because I mean, I don't think there's anybody who's gonna be like, divorce, awesome. I
want to learn more about that.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think
to talk.
So I mean, I think the issue is, how the church should not necessarily how the church should view divorce as an entity, but how the church should view people who have gone through a divorce and how to minister to them best. And I think, you had mentioned being divorced. I think that gives a real unique perspective on, okay, how did it feel that the church viewed you when you were going through it after the fact, and also like, what did you need during that time from the church to kind of help minister to you as you were going through that?
Okay, so
it's
only an hour-long podcast.
Well, because you were through it.
Yeah.
The duration, and you stated it.
So let's get it out of the way. Lisa was also divorced, so that way it's not all eyes on me.
But I wasn't in the church when I was divorced, so I may look at it a little bit different.
Wow.
And that's why we have you on today.
Compare and contrast.
Yes, that'll be great. Okay, so with me, I was a member of the church for many, many years, and then got divorced while still being a member of the church. So that's kind of where I come from. For the people that don't know my story, I wasn't the one that initiated the divorce. I wasn't the one that wanted the divorce. However, it happened. How did people respond to me? Like church members? It kind of goes full. It can go full ways. So you got very supportive from friends. Like, you know what? That's how you know who your friends are.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the toughest things that I learned from being divorced, like, you have to grow tough skin because number one, people are going to have their opinions about you. Now they're going to you don't get invited to the weddings. You don't get invited to the parties because, the couples or whatever, they don't want to make it awkward. And I get that. It's fine. But it's uncomfortable. Everybody's going and you're not going because of that. And I'm not.
And that's something that you went through?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Whereas, but you also find out who the real friends are. And then the toughest thing, I think, is finding out that some of your friends weren't actually your friends. You were the one. I would go with my ex and we'd hang out with a couple and we would, play board games or do that kind of stuff. But after the divorce, I realized, they're still hanging out with my ex. I'm the one that they were like, oh, Bill's coming. I was the odd man out, so it was a difficult thing. I've lost friends over it. Because first off, people hear rumors about you, they believe it. The game of telephone, where all of a sudden now you're the worst person in the world, and so it trickles down, and a dramatic story is a lot better than just yeah, it's a lot better than the truth. So like that kind of stuff was difficult, but having the support of people that actually cared and that would reach out, especially now I have 2 kids, and during that time they were younger, so that was important to me, like to make sure that they were okay. I guess with me, it was difficult. It was. And then you would hear, rumors and, there was a time right after everything broke in my life, and I was coming to church. I was sitting in the balcony, and there was 2 older women sitting in front of me, and they were going on and on, not realizing I'm sitting here listening to everything about me, about how awful I am. And, and you're like, now do I really want to
Still be here?
Still be here? And that was tough, and making sure, hey, do the kids still want to be here because of it? And, it was rough.
How'd you navigate that?
A lot of it made my kids and I get a lot closer. We could actually talk a lot more freely. I let them tell me how they really were feeling.
Yeah.
So it was difficult, but again, now Vince and Greg, our pastors, were very, very, very supportive of me, and they were there when I needed them, when I needed a shoulder to cry on, I needed just whatever, and I could call and talk. I remember calling you and having real conversations. Yeah. So like having friends there that I could actually rely on for real conversation was nice. Right. It made it, manageable. And divorce is never awesome. And no matter what party is involved, it's not exciting. No. Like you don't want to go through it.
Well, one thing when you're talking about stress, if you look at like the data for most stressful things in life, divorce is right at the top.
Right.
And it really is like we're kind of taught when we're taught how to deal with that, and we have patients all the time that come in and are going through divorces, and they're on the edge, and you're really treated like a death. I mean, in a lot of ways, it is.
Well, you're
a death.
mourning something that is gone.
Is a death. The worst part is it's almost like a zombie death.
Right, because it
doesn't go away.
Right.
Death ends.
Right.
And I'm not saying that this is worse than death.
No.
I clearly,
right.
It's not worse than death. But in a way, you're still you have to keep reliving it.
You carry that baggage for so long when you get divorced because, church, from what you're saying, church did support you. For a majority of people,
the majority
really supported you. But when you get divorced, I guess I'm asking as a Christian, is it different? Do you still wear that baggage of divorce? Do you still feel like you need support? If there was a ministry or something for divorced people, do you feel like you still wear that baggage?
Not particularly. I mean, maybe it's because when we got married, I didn't. It was like, okay, now I'm back. I'm cool again. Got myself a wife. Now, I guess it is.
That's what you are.
I know.
Okay,
that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you for answering that.
It's the only reason.
Go now.
Thanks for coming. No, I mean, as far as I don't think about it anymore. I mean, there's times again with the kids.
Yeah.
But as far as is anything else like that, it doesn't. It doesn't bother me. I've always been, I'll tell you, anything, it doesn't, I'm not one to shy away from talking about myself. No, so I'm not.
Did you ever
afraid of it.
consider leaving church, finding a different church? Or
Me-
did you not meet that? You did not have to cross that bridge? It never came up.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Well, I would say I don't think that he's, and speaking as Lisa Merkh's wife, I don't think he's ever
He
thought
likes
about.
to lean back from the microphone.
So, when I think about him thinking about leaving the church, I don't think that's ever crossed his mind.
Mm.
Now, in another part of divorce and remarriage in the church, there's been times where I'm like, I would like to leave this church and go somewhere where like people don't know his story,
Yeah.
don't know what his kids went through, don't know, the ex.
Yeah.
Like we could go somewhere and like
restart.
Right. And I think that is a part of divorce in the church too, because I don't think for remarried couples, I can walk up to somebody and say, hey, Katrina, how do you handle your kids? And as a step parent, it's very different than dealing with your own kids. There's a balance. And I think with church, like sometimes people are a little uneasy. I remember people saying to me when we first got married, oh, you got to get along with the ex. You got to love the kids. You got to make sure, otherwise you're not going to be a great step parent. And I'm like, whoa,
Well, yeah, and I think it's, it's interesting you bring that up because I could see it going both ways, right? I mean, so like in your situation, it happened in the church. It was a little bit more public than a lot of folks' divorce situations in the church would be.
Right.
Yeah.
So people kind of knew the story, maybe, whether they believe in rumors or not. Whereas if you leave and go to a different church, and I'd say this is before you married Lisa, right? Then it's like, so you have a family? Well, I'm divorced. And now in Christian circles, it's
yeah,
yes,
right. And I'm not saying it should be.
There's a pot,
right. There's a little bit of the scarlet letter on the test, right?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be because, again, nobody is cheering for divorce, and that's nobody's goal. And that's the other thing in the church is like when stuff starts to happen in a marriage, everybody's ultimate goal, the end goal should be restoration in the marriage. That's always the ultimate goal, right?
Right.
Now, again, the first things that are important are if it's a situation of abuse, safety. Let's get this person to safety, those sorts of things. Ultimately, the church's goal is going to be restoration of the parties to God. And if it's only one person that's gotten away from the Lord, still that person's restoration. And then that should fix the marriage, right? If both people are, but then there's situations where that doesn't happen.
Right.
Right. And then it's like, okay, how can we come alongside? Then you go to a church fresh and it's like, oh, I'm divorced. And it's like every divorce is its own unique story.
Right. You're not there.
Right. Exactly. But nobody knows what that is. Right.
Right.
And nobody feels comfortable going, so tell me your divorce story. Right. Especially early on. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And so like those are the situations where I think going to a different church, depending on how mature the people in the church are, it's like, oh,
yeah.
Okay. I wonder what his story is. Right.
Yeah.
And again, and I think
a very good point.
I think that's where we fall short I'm not saying Emmanuel, I'm saying evangelical Christians, sometimes going, okay, listen, we're not saying we're happy you're divorced, but okay, that's the reality of the situation. How can we minister to you?
Right.
Like, how can we come alongside you?
What are your needs?
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have kids? How are they doing?
Right.
Is there ministries we can get out, get them plugged into?
Right.
Those sorts of things. And I think sometimes that can be challenging, and I think so I think you had the unique experience of experiencing it in the church, but then staying in the church and not having to do that. But I can understand your side too, where it's like starting fresh would be nice too.
Yeah.
Well, so I would say the majority of people were supportive, were there, and anything I needed, they would be there for me, and they could talk to me and that. But there were ones I've lost friends, like literally lost friends and friendships because of it. And now and then you get the weird reasons. I lost a friend, like a close friend who went to another church, but because of my divorce, I wasn't mean enough to my ex during the divorce.
Oh my goodness.
And you should have been meaner and gone after her and blah, blah, blah. And I lost a friend of years and blows my mind. No, I was trying to do the right thing. So, you never know with people how they're going to react. And then when you throw that divorce word in. Oh man, people so I'm going to take over as host. So Lisa, when you came to the church, you were already divorced.
Yes.
How did that make you feel? Because now, do you want to get a little into your story or? I mean, you don't have to go deep, but you can talk into the microphone, the top of the microphone. You can put that right near your mouth and you can talk in so we can all hear you.
I'm a conversationalist. I like to face people when I'm talking.
But then
it's really
she talks back and
sorry. So, I mean, just a little bit of my story. I was married really young and I was only married for 2 years. I was not a Christian at the time. So.
And neither was he.
Neither was he.
And you guys didn't have a church?
No, I was not going to church at all. Sorry, at that point. And so when we were divorced, I mean, we didn't have anything. We had an apartment and
no children.
No children, no assets together.
Surprise, Bill. Actually, no.
Wait. Only the 2 beautiful dogs.
When I have picked up the dogs from camp, they'll be like, Felix's dad is here. Stepdad. I'm the stepdog dad. The stepdog dad.
What a title.
Yeah, right.
So I feel like, back then it really, I mean, I don't think I even thought about divorce. It was kind of this is not going away that I would want it to. And, because I'm not going to share too much of my story, but it wasn't going the way that I wanted it to. So we were divorced. And it wasn't until I started coming here and it was people wanted to know my testimony. And I would say that I was divorced, but it was always, I was divorced, but it was a really long time ago, over 20 years ago. I had rubbed it off somehow. Oh, my divorce wasn't that bad because
we were only married 2 years.
We were only married 2 years. Yeah. But I feel like when you started talking about the support and things from the church, I mean, I think for me, a lot of people just saw me as a single woman when I got here. A lot of people didn't think about the divorce, whether it's the way that I talked about it but I remember for myself when I first became a Christian and I started reading the Bible and talking to people, I was like, you know what? I was married. I guess I'm just meant to be single and working for the Lord for the rest of my life. And it was I did that divorce, so I'm going to just work for the Lord for the rest of my life. Being married again was never in my thoughts. Remarriage, never. So, I mean,
so not to psychoanalyze, but when you got divorced as a non-believer, somebody who wasn't in the church at the time, how did you feel at the time you got divorced?
So, and again, I'm looking back 25 years at this point, but
you can't be a day over 30 weeks.
You were married at 5?
Yes. No, it's not that kind of podcast. So I just remember, it's so funny. I remember being sad about what had happened because with the background of my marriage, I always said that I never thought I would be part of that kind of marriage. And with my marriage, I mean, I only knew him for probably less than 2 or 3 months. And we got married. And at that time, it was kind of I didn't even see marriage as a thing. It was just
How old were you?
This is going to get me, I was trying to figure out the exact year. I believe I was 21 or 22.
That works.
Don't hold me to those facts. If anybody can figure out,
20-ish.
I got married on Valentine's Day and it was
Oh.
a Saturday. I'm trying to figure out what year Valentine's Day was on a Saturday.
Don't sweat it.
But I would definitely say as a non-Christian, there was no thought to it. There was like sad because I was like, oh man, I got involved in that and I shouldn't have.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, I think the next weekend, like I was just out with my friends.
Yeah.
And like my dad went with me. We got all my stuff. And my parents were like, welcome home.
Yeah.
And then I had to go to court for my divorce. And it was kind of like,
Okay. Yeah.
like when I hear him say, and I think that it's so brave of him saying like, you know, I didn't want this divorce and I wanted to try to make it work. Because like even in any marriage, you know, like it would be so easy, right? To say, okay, done and done. But as a believer, we hold ourselves to a higher standard. And I love what you said earlier about just, you know, that thought shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be like, okay, let's just get divorced. You go your way and I'll go mine. And I think that's why this topic is important, because sometimes I even think some married couples can use it as like, you know, this isn't going right. I'm thinking divorce,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you use it as almost like a weapon. And as a Christian, our thoughts shouldn't go there. Am I?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, your thoughts shouldn't go there. As your husband, I'm telling you.
They won't.
Hey, baby.
Kidding.
You got anything?
No, I'm just taking
You're
it
happily
in.
married?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, these idiots.
Not at all. Not at all. No.
No.
I just, yeah.
I mean,
It's you know,
it's a
big
difficult
topic. It is.
thing, and it doesn't just affect you.
Mm-hmm.
Like it affects, even if you don't have kids, it still affects your parents. It
Mhm.
affects your friend group. Like I said, friends.
Every
was
aspect of your life.
really, but
Yeah.
every aspect of your life
Yeah.
now has changed. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and now I think we're going to touch on it after the break, but we're not taking a break yet. But I think we're going to touch on more like going through it as kids, because my parents were divorced.
Mm-hmm.
So that also, like, you know, affects my, you know,
Right.
why I'm a pessimist or why
Mhm.
I always look at it, you know.
Well, and I think, you know, it's interesting going back to the idea of what the church can do.
Right.
Because I think because divorce is a taboo thing in the
Mhm.
church. And again,
Hopefully it
Yeah,
is.
it's
But
a-
actually the numbers,
Right. well, I mean, it depends on what source you look at, right?
Okay.
I mean, I was always brought up hearing numbers of divorce in the church is the same as in the outside.
Mm.
is that
And
true?
It's not. I
Okay.
mean, the study, probably the most accurate study from the Barna Group that was done not that long ago. And it depends really on how broadly you define Christians or a church. And so when they broke it down, it's if people are actually involved in the church,
Mm.
divorce numbers are actually dramatically lower
Yeah.
Okay.
than the people who are just like, I
Yeah.
go to church,
Mm-hmm.
but really don't. You know,
Right.
so but being involved in the church, being involved in ministry is certainly not a magic potion,
Right.
but it does seem like the numbers.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. But it
Hi,
does.
Uncle Merkh.
It does seem that the numbers are a little bit lower. But I was always raised with like, oh, they're the same.
Yeah.
They are if you really go broad on how you define
Well, one,
evangelical.
divorce rates are almost at 50%.
Right.
And
But
two,
they actually are going down.
they are.
But I think it's because people just aren't getting married. They're
think
getting
so?
married later and later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less marriages
Right.
to get divorced, you mean?
Well, I mean, I think there's some regards where it looks like definitely the if you go outside the Christian world, the
Yeah.
age at first marriage is drastically older than it used to be,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, why?
Right.
Like if I, you know,
I mean,
if I'm going after
Vince
my
and I didn't get
career-
married until we were 30.
yeah,
I feel like that's pretty late. I mean, that's decently late.
but yeah, if I'm focused on my career and I'm
Yeah.
focused on and
Yeah.
you know, and I don't have like
Yeah.
the traditional thoughts on morality,
Mm-hmm.
then
What's the point? Yeah.
Right?
Our
I mean,
culture has definitely watered down the idea of committing yourself.
right. And so, so I think any divorce numbers that are dropping may be a little bit of a red herring if the marriage numbers are actually
lower
dropping too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And if, you don't divorce,
right,
you're dead.
Right. But what I was saying about the ministry in the church is I think it's because it's kind of that taboo subject. A lot of times churches ignore that faction for direct ministry too. Whether it be like, for instance, Holly and I kind of ran the college and career / singles group at our church in Illinois.
Okay.
But often that just winds up being like college age kids and people who just got out of college who are just starting out in their career and aren't married yet.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not everybody that's single in the church. You have some never married. You have some divorcees, and they don't feel comfortable. And I remember talking to a guy who was running his singles group at a much larger church in the area. They had, 100 people that fell into that ministry.
Yeah.
And he said, he goes, we actually have to have separate events. He's like, for instance, for our young college, we'd have like a Valentine ball. You know who you don't want to have a Valentine ball for? Never married people in their 30s and 40s and divorcees. He's like, but they're all part of this.
Yeah.
He's like, you have to really be intentional about being sensitive to like where people are and how to minister to them and what they need without making them feel like, well, great.
Yeah.
Because you had said earlier, like people were like, we're not going to invite Bill because he'll be like the third wheel.
It's true.
Right. And so, okay, they're trying to be sensitive, but like you can't be so sensitive that you ignore the person.
Right.
Right. And so I think that's where the church has to be, or children. How do we focus on children's ministry where there's some aspect of children's ministry where we can focus on kids whose parents are going through a divorce?
Right.
And because they are going through a lot. And a lot of times they can't process it. And yes, you can go, oh, there's therapy. And there's like, but shouldn't the church be there to help too?
Yeah. Yeah.
And just sticking our head in the sand and not bringing it up.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't want, and they know their parents are going through a divorce.
Yeah.
You're not going to be like, really? They are? Like, it's not going to be a shock to them.
Yeah.
And so how can we come alongside at every age level? And I think that's something, again, this is not an indictment of Emmanuel. This is just in general, evangelical church, in my experience, we don't know what to do.
So you would say to the parent who's going through a divorce to keep plugging your children into local ministries.
Absolutely. And it's our job as a local
important
ministry to have something there for them.
Yeah.
To have resources there for them. At the very least, to make them feel loved and accepted.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And on that note, we're going to divorce you guys for a little bit and take a break. No? Is that not the way? Okay. Well, we will be back in just a few minutes.
Welcome to Emmanuel Baptist Church, where our focus has been building strong lives in Jesus Christ since 1925, right here in Maple Shade, New Jersey. With 2 Sunday services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., you can choose the time that works best for you. And if you have children, our Greenhouse Kids Ministry and Nursery are available during the 11 a.m. service, so you can worship without distractions. But that's not all. On Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., we offer Sunday school classes for all ages. And if you're looking for a midweek pick-me-up, we have a variety of events on Wednesday nights. For more information on all of our programs and events, visit our website at ibclife.org. Follow us on social media and check out our weekly bulletin. And there's one more way to stay connected with us. Download our Church Center app. With this convenient app, you can stay up to date on all of our events and register for programs. Emmanuel Baptist Church, building strong lives in Jesus Christ.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. How are you? Hopefully everything's good. So, I want to talk about you guys okay? Really? So, we're talking about divorce. No, but what I want to say is this is going to be funny because you're all laughing. I was going to go serious with the fact is if you are contemplating divorce, seek help. Like, seriously, reach out to people. People want to help. Like, call me. I'll tell you how bad it was. There has never been a time in my life where I was more lonely. When the kids went out, because we split custody at the beginning and then they eventually came with me. But at the beginning, when they weren't there. So the one night, it is by far my loneliest night. I am just not feeling it. Like everything in my being is just, I'm gonna get in the fetal position. That's gonna be tonight. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go out to the movies. I'm gonna change what this is. I'm going to the movies, and I am gonna go see a war movie. I'm gonna see a manly movie. I'm gonna get myself pumped up. So I just quick glance. Okay, here's a war movie. I drive to the theater. I go there. It's like a 9:00 showing, 9:30 showing. It wasn't a war movie. It was, they came back from war. It was the saddest, most depressing movie I've ever seen in my life. I am bawling. Can't stop crying in this theater. It is the saddest movie. And I mean, and from my feelings, it was even more sad than it really was.
I need to know what movie it was now.
Yeah.
Oh, if I could remember the name, I'll come up with a name. Miles Teller was in it.
Okay.
That's all I can remember. But there's all kinds of, it's just real depressing. I come out of that theater. I'm like, the credits, it's like directed by, I am darting to the car. Tears are pouring out of my eyes. I'm like, don't see anybody. Get in my car and I'm like, this was the worst choice ever. But now it's late. You can't get off it. So now you can't sleep. Like, that's the only reason not to get divorced. No, I'm just kidding. It really is a lonely experience because you are now solo. And I was married for a real long time. Not used to ever being on my own, solo, just the empty house. And you remember all, like I was living in the house, so I'm remembering all the good memories. And so it's a difficult thing. And I think a lot of people, you don't want to burden people. You don't want to call up people.
Yeah.
I did, but that took a lot of whatever just to be like, hey, I'm reaching out. But then you can only talk to a certain amount. You don't want to give too much out, and you don't want to make it like, oh, look at me. Yeah. But you also want to make sure that you're not burdening them then.
Right.
Like, Bill's calling again. Right. Yeah, you're divorced. I get it. So
whose turn is it to take Bill this time?
Right?
But I mean, I think, but therein lies, again, not to keep going back to the same thing, but therein lies the issue with the church, right? Well, in general, is the fact that is our role. Like nobody should ever feel like, I don't want to be a burden. No, like we're called to bear each other's burdens.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what the church is. Our main church our main purpose is to glorify God and to evangelize the world, but we're also there to bear each other's burdens.
Right.
And so this idea that like we should have an environment where nobody ever goes, I'm just going to keep this to myself.
Right.
And again, that doesn't mean you get up on Sunday morning at the pulpit and say these things, but you should have a group that you feel comfortable going, hey, I'm really struggling right now.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling. Like, can we just go out and get a piece of pizza or go to a movie? That's not nearly as sad as the one you choose.
Yeah.
And
find a Pixar movie.
I cry at everything, so I would have probably need like an IV after that movie. If you were doing that. But
do you really cry at everything?
Oh my goodness, my kids!
Really?
My kids will literally look at me with a look of absolute disgust. That I'm crying at something.
So I don't cry at a lot of movies, but there's a lot of times, especially when I'm on like medication, I'm crying at like a dog food commercial or whatever.
Yeah.
You see, you're like, oh, the dog. It's like your emotions are just.
Well, so what's funny is if anybody who knows Holly and I, like nobody would ever think that like I'm like the sensitive one. She's like the nicest, kindest person in the world.
Right.
And that woman does not cry at movies at all. And we'll be sitting there and I'm like, you have this heart of stone. How are you not crying at this?
She's like, get that shotgun, old yeller. You're going down.
I'll get rabies. It needed to do that.
Why wouldn't you shoot it? I'll shoot it.
So it's just funny because the furthest things. I'm not saying she never does.
Yeah.
But it's like
Rare.
100 to 1 on me, But in fairness,
Would never guess that.
I know. Never. She cries legitimately, and I cry at just absolutely anything. Yeah.
Wow.
So, Lisa, are you a crier in the movies?
No,
No.
not at all. My sister actually told me I have a heart of stone one time.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like,
Mm,
do you cry at movies?
yeah. Yeah. I cried during Bumblebee. The Transformers. They were beating up on him. I was also pregnant at the time, so I get a pass for that.
I've never been pregnant, so I have no pass.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've lost.
Did you cry at Transformers?
I probably did, honestly. They all run together. And I legitimately have lost all of my children's respect because of how much I cry. They have none.
That makes you a man.
Even my 10-year-old looks at me, he's like, really, Dad?
Josh.
Yeah. Really, Dad? You crying at that? No. And then
No,
Lily sings me out. She's like, yeah, you are. Why are you lying to the kid?
I love Holly.
Sounds like the McCleary house is a fun one.
It sounds like I might need to reach out to somebody for some therapy.
Yeah, you should.
Why are you crying so much?
I'm not bearing that burden.
That's
My
too
family's just picking on me. I was just watching the latest G.I. Joe movie, and Snake Eyes got me.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing is we need to. But part of that is feeling open.
What does it look like practicality wise?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's because divorce is so many things, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Whether it's infidelity, whether it's just didn't work out, right? Whether it's abuse, whether it's finances, whether it's all of those things, right?
Right.
You know, and everybody may have a different, you know, different baggage that they bring into it. So it's not one size fits all. But I think there's that I think it's more comes down to the feeling, creating an environment, fostering an environment where people feel comfortable being able to open up about what they're going through.
Right.
And I think that's what the small groups are, the life groups are. That's the idea behind that.
Right.
Is like, yeah, you're sitting in a sanctuary, you're looking around, you don't know that many people, if anybody, especially if you're not outgoing, you're not going to like raise your hand and say, can I say something in front of everybody?
Yeah.
But,
I'd hope you wouldn't.
Exactly. But I mean, so how do we foster that? And I think that's where, you know, again, I think Emmanuel's doing a good job of that. But I'm just saying in general, I think the church, especially with divorce, it's always like.
I think it's also the little touches. And it just hey, how are you? Praying for you, thinking of you, you know.
What was most helpful for you?
Pretty much that. Just knowing that there were people and that didn't have a problem saying, you know, again, you almost feel like a leper sometimes. And it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
And you try to be, you know, I'm introverted as it is. I know I'm playing a character.
Right.
No, but I mean, I would prefer just to sit up in the, you know, and not be talked to. Like that's my comfort. But I do, you know, the reaching out is something. Now, I say that now, if 100 people come up to me on a Sunday morning and be like, hey, I'm praying for you.
Yeah.
That might be a little overwhelming. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that's you know, knowing that people are still thinking of you and still caring for you.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
Well, and it's not something it comes to me naturally. I know like when you guys were going through it and we were living out in Illinois.
Right.
I think you said you would call call me and we'd talk sometimes. And there'd be times where Holly would literally say to me, have you checked in with Bill recently? You know, and again, not because I didn't care. It's just like, I'm not good at that.
Yeah.
No,
you know what I mean?
I'm not good at it.
And then I would like occasionally send you a text like, how's it going, man? Like just, and it wasn't a long response. It was like, yeah, what, you know, good, bad. Some days, yeah,
right.
But the thing is, just those little things. And I'm not saying, oh, look what I did. I'm saying I'm not good at it. If it wasn't for Holly going, hey, have you checked in?
Yeah, right.
You know, that sort of thing. Because I don't think as guys, most guys are not good at that.
No.
You know, and I think, you know, but like you said, it doesn't have to be anything huge and elaborate. It's just like a quick checking on you. Everything going okay?
Yeah.
You know?
It's funny because, you know, we say like that it's taboo in the church and what should the church do as a collective? Again, not Emmanuel, but like people that go to church. But like, it's almost like you found one way that Christians can help each other out to make it maybe not so taboo or help people that are going through a divorce or divorced or remarried or whatever. It's just that moment of like, hey, I support you. You can tell me the bad stuff, share each other's burdens. And I think, there doesn't always have to be like, okay, we're starting a divorce ministry next week and we're going to just focus on that. It's
raise your hand if you're interested in the divorce ministry.
Honestly, I wouldn't have wanted that. Would you have wanted that?
No.
Yeah, that's not like if they said, hey, we're all going to get together and now we're going to have a divorce ministry. Guarantee I wouldn't have been there.
So what was not helpful for you during that time? Anything you could say that is not helpful?
I mean, people that you watch people intentionally treat you differently.
Okay. Yeah.
And again, the rumor, the gossip, I mean, I know gossip's a sin, so it should just go without saying, but it
not gossip, though, it's prayer requests.
wow.
Oh, you're right. I've ever heard.
Thank you, Mark. Oh, that's why I love having you on there.
Ethan, we came here today.
Yeah, that's going to be the clip. No, but yeah, I mean, the gossip is like when it gets back to you and you start hearing things about yourself and you're like, well, that didn't happen. Like, that needs to stop. Like, okay, if there is an issue that you have and you know that, a friend of yours is doing something like that's also, with burdens,
right?
Like you got to confront them and be like, hey, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Right.
Like we need to as a friend, let's sit down and talk. I mean, don't go up to everybody.
Well, you can say, share someone else's business and say, we need to pray for them, and that's an easy way to camouflage the gossip.
It's funny because I've actually heard somebody say one time talking about that bear your burdens. They were like, okay, I know we love it so much, but it's bear your burdens, not share the burdens. And I was like, that's so true.
That's so true.
And when you just said that, it hit me like,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
anyway, I cut you.
I completely get not wanting to like have a labeled ministry for days.
Yeah.
I think the one thing though, and you had said earlier about how lonely it was.
It is.
Right. That I think maybe not a ministry, but something where somebody comes into church and they're divorced, right? But they're looking around going, everybody else here's marriage is perfect. Nobody knows what this feels like. Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's somebody sitting next to them in the pew that knows exactly what it feels like, but how would they know?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that situation where somebody like, I can't completely understand what you went through.
Right.
Right. But there's people out there that could.
Absolutely.
Right. And so sometimes I know my mom, after my dad died, she says all the time, like, until you lose your spouse, you really don't know what it's like. And so like having those situations where she can talk to other women who've lost their spouse and somewhere, and it's like, okay, they get it.
Right.
Other people, they think they get it or they can imagine what it would be like, but it's not exactly the same.
Right.
And so those situations where at least an environment where people don't think I'm the only one, because especially in a church situation, if you're not really known, you're like, nobody would think this of me because nobody else has gone through this. Everybody's marriage is perfect. Because of course on Sunday mornings, everybody makes everything, look good. Nobody realizes that they were yelling at their kids the whole way to church and the dog on the way out the door.
Yeah.
And so, so those sorts of things. So, I mean, I think that realness, the way
cracking them up.
I know I'm on a roll tonight.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, I think to me, that's how do we do that, right? How do we get to the point where people don't feel like I'm the only one who went through this?
Yeah.
And that's, and again, it doesn't have to necessarily be a label that, but it's that ability to have that conversation where you go, oh, okay. If anytime you want to talk, anytime you want to go through the, just be able to sit there and listen because you know what they went through.
Right.
God. No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to switch and go towards, again, I came from divorced parents. I went to a Christian school. Very few of my friends had divorced parents. I had maybe a couple, but for the kids, that's lonely.
Yeah. How was that? Like,
oh, it was great. No, as a kid going through it,
the
one thing I always said is, I'm never getting divorced. because I'm not going to put my kids through what I went through.
Yeah.
And then it happened.
Right.
And again, God had his plan in place. He knew what was going to happen.
Right.
But I always thought, okay, I cannot let them go through the same thing that I went through.
Mm.
And it again, sometimes life happens and you end up where you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happened. But as a kid, it was different again. The sleepovers.
Did you feel like you got treated differently from your friends or
your friends' parents?
Yeah,
no, because my close friends, like they all knew, they were all cool.
Okay. But you said the sleepovers, what those stopped?
Well, like when you got a bunch of people that maybe aren't as tight as your tight knit friend, like having friends. Maybe this podcast should be about get a good group of friends that you can actually rely on. Kids, adults, you can actually reach out because that's going to really help you through everything. And as a teenager going through it, I don't know. I mean, but we were, it's weird because my father was a bad man, so he left. Mm-hmm. And then, you even hear like, you kind of look like you look like your father in certain ways or whatever. And you're like, well, we weren't separated at birth, but we were separated when I was 9.
Yeah.
No, that was a good joke. Come on. Seriously? Nothing. Was it too dark? I'm sorry.
Try not to laugh at your pain.
But you can.
Okay.
And that's what I started dealing with. Humor.
Right.
It's a way to mask it. And I've done it the rest of my life.
Mm.
And that's why I'm in therapy. So get a good therapist and get it. No? Okay. Well, fine.
I laughed at that.
No, I was serious on that one. You weren't supposed to.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
You got to get better cues.
I'm bad.
Get like a laugh.
The whole thing is find support,
Absolutely.
within the church. And that support should be something that can help you in those lonely times as a child.
And honestly, that support has to be biblically sound. You can't, you're going to hear a whole bunch of things from a whole bunch of people. Yeah. Again, even though my friend did go to church, he still was telling me,
right,
you weren't mean enough. Like you're going to get a whole bunch of miscommunication. Yeah. Dive deep into the word.
Be discerning.
Be discerning. Good point. Yeah, you should say more. I'm going to stop talking now because I think I've over talked.
No.
This has been like the Bill show. I don't like it.
You're on the other side of the mic.
Yeah, I know. Usually I like to do the interview. So, So you guys got anything else, or are we going to just wrap it up here? Because I don't think this is a good place to wrap. I think we got more to say. There's got to be more.
I mean, I think a lot of it is kind of what we've been saying over and over again in different ways. I think it all comes down to how, and I'm taking it from the perspective of somebody in the church. How can we come alongside, right? Yeah. And I think the first thing is understanding that most people in the church's first goal is going to be reconciliation. If you come to them, and it should be. It should be.
I agree.
I think first thing should be, like I said earlier, safety. If a woman's coming, or even a man coming, I'm in an abusive relationship. All right, you're safe. No, okay. Let's figure out a way to get you to safety, and then figure out whether or not
reconciliation is a good.
Right. I mean, I think you don't want to be heartless and be like, well, divorce isn't an option. Okay, let's not cross that bridge yet. Let's get you into a situation of safety so you feel loved and safe, and then we can figure this out. And the first advice shouldn't be like, okay, divorce him. Okay, let's sit there and figure this out. And then again, sometimes it happens, right? And again, and it's never. I don't think it's anybody's goal when they get married at the altar going, this is going to end in divorce.
Right.
Like nobody's standing there thinking that, right?
Yeah.
Elizabeth Taylor, maybe.
Yeah. It's like the alimony's coming. But nobody's really doing that, right? And nobody's happy when it happens. Like, and so those sorts of things where it's like, I think sometimes in the church we look at like the Hollywood side of things, like marriage doesn't mean anything to anybody. Like this is just, as soon as things get hard, people bail. And there are a small subset of people who look at marriage that way. But most people that go through divorce, it is a painful, horrible experience.
Right.
That they never want to go through.
Right.
They never planned on going through. And so, yes, while it's never God's design at the start of a marriage for it to end in divorce, we are fallen people and we live in a fallen world, so it happens.
Mm-hmm.
So how is a church not saying, hey, we're here because we want you to be divorced, but it's, okay, you are. This happened.
Yeah.
What do we do to help?
Right.
You pick up the pieces, feel loved, but more importantly, if you have fallen away from the Lord, how do we get you back
Mm-hmm.
following him? And if you've stayed with him, how do we keep you supported?
Yeah.
And that's the role, I think, of the church. But we have to get past the stigma of, what did they do? Or, that wouldn't have happened to me. Like anybody who ever thinks that wouldn't happen to me, it's you're next.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's that arrogance that like you have to stay, but for the grace of God,
Right.
And I think that's, to me, the issue that I've seen too often in churches in general is we don't want to talk about it because it's uncomfortable, and we don't know how to talk to people who've gone through it.
And you don't want to come across judgmental.
Right. But by not wanting to come across judgmental, you're being kind of judgmental.
Right.
Right? Because you're not talking to them about it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like,
yeah.
and again, it's not a surprise to them. Like divorce. What? I'm divorced? Like
Yeah. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I mean, they know that, and it's and it's just, hey, I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's I think it's something that we, because it's a subject that makes a lot of people uncomfortable, I think it's one that we kind of shy away from. Because even when you said about those podcasts, my initial, oh no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, it's just because,
I thought this was your idea.
what? But not to be on it.
Oh, I'm asking you for ideas to be on, and and you're like, divorce, and I was like, okay, Mark, game on.
Yeah, I got the text back. I'm like, I missed the point I was trying to make. No, but I mean, again, it because it is one of those subjects that
It is.
It doesn't necessarily make me uncomfortable, but it's like you go, I don't want to offend anybody with what I'm saying,
Yeah.
right? And but at the same point in time, you can't just sit there and be like, it's not a big deal and it's okay,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not,
Right.
but it also is the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
And there's, the statistics, there's real people behind those numbers.
Yeah.
Like it.
I think, go ahead.
No.
I think it also know your place in the person's life. You're not, if you're a church member and there is another church member that's going through this, you're not their pastor, you're not their preacher, you're not their mother. Just be nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
No matter
I love that.
What
Like that's
you
a
don't know the
good
background.
point.
You don't need to know the background. You might not ever know the background.
And even if you think you know the background, you don't know the background.
So just be courteous
That's
and
like-
nice.
That's
Like,
also
don't
a great point too.
Be empathetic.
be empathetic.
Be empathetic,
right?
but don't give
be
advice.
a face that person looks forward to seeing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't give advice
Unless
they
unless
ask.
now, if they ask you, I think advice is okay.
Yeah.
Right.
In a very,
And if you don't, you know how
again-
much advice I got.
I know, but perspective, right? Like when
Okay.
you think
If you
about
wanna
all
be
the
in the
different
place to give
pieces
them
of
advice,
advice.
then really get level one-on-one
Yeah.
with them and get in that spot where they ask you
But
if that's
if they're asking you, then most
you're
likely they
probably
feel
already in that spot.
you have a comfortable.
Relationship.
Yeah, I mean, I would talk to Mark and ask for advice,
Yeah.
but it wasn't, but I had to sift through his nonsense. No, I'm
So-
just kidding. No, I mean,
No,
you do have to weigh
You do.
what people are saying and actually match it up to scripture.
right,
There you
And
go.
are they saying what God's saying?
right.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to keep bouncing into that. I've never read so much scripture on divorce when I was going through divorce.
Right.
I've never read so many books on divorce
Right.
as I read. And again, Christian.
Yeah.
Everything I did was trying to go, what is this?
Right.
Through biblical eyes. But
Right.
again, that's also tough because, how many billions of quote unquote Christians are there when you're actually, and how many different thoughts and everybody has.
Well, I think you made a great point about the fact that for the most part, you're their friend.
Mm-hmm.
You're not the Christian marriage counselor.
Right.
You're not their pastor.
Right.
You're not all those things. So a lot of times, unless they're specifically going, what do I do in a situation?
Yeah.
What they're looking for is an ear.
Yeah.
Or what they're looking for is a shoulder to cry on.
Mm-hmm.
Or just to feel.
Just to listen.
Just to feel loved.
Yeah.
And again, now if they're doing something or if, they say, this is what I'm doing and it's like completely wrong, like sinfully wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I think at that point, it's a different thing to say, that may not be your approach.
Yeah.
Right. I love you and that's why I'm telling you this, but a lot of times it's not even that. It's just, I need to get this off my chest.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so you don't have to, I think so often Christians are concerned about condoning something that would be wrong.
Yeah.
But they lose their empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And so you can be empathetic without being condoning.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think some people get scared of that. Like, I don't want to empathize because I don't want them to think that like it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so those sorts of situations where I think that's, you don't have to put the pressure on yourself. Like, it was like when you would call me, like there were times
You'd be
where
doing a surgery.
yeah, no, it's like,
Yeah, Bill, whatever.
put
Just
in
get
the
divorced.
operating room.
put them on speakerphone. No, it would be, hey, it would be me telling myself, you can't fix this.
Right.
Just listen. Because I'm a fixer. Like when somebody comes, like I want to be like, okay, here's the plan. And it's like, no. Like that's not what he's calling you for.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like this is so much bigger than you. Like you can't fix this. Like only God can fix this.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, it's just a matter of listening. And so, but that's hard for me, and then I don't necessarily like the feeling of not being able to fix something. So then when like, I have to fight that feeling of like, I don't like this conversation because I feel inept. I feel like I can't help. Right.
Yeah.
And
Wow,
again,
that should be a podcast on its own because I'm the same way.
yeah. And
No, you don't have to shake your head, Lisa.
but you are helping, that's just listening.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, and I don't remember the details of, that was years ago, but like, it wasn't like, just because I'm listening doesn't mean that I'm going, I think everything you said and handled it, everything was perfectly right.
Right.
Again, I don't remember one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that wasn't what you were calling me about.
Right.
Now, if you would have told me something completely off the wall, I would have been like, yo, Bill, like that's probably not, I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But the otherwise it's like, I have no idea how I would handle myself in that situation either. So what am I going to sit there and be like, I wouldn't have said that. I don't know what I would have said.
Oh.
Right. And so I think those sorts of things where it's like, just realize you don't have to be that person. And I think some people shy away from it because they're scared of like, I don't know what to
They're going to
say.
expect too much
Yeah.
from me. I don't know what to say.
I had a friend in Illinois who tragically lost 2 of his children in a car accident. It was awful. And after my dad died, he called me and he was like, he's like, I'm sorry about your dad. And he's like, I just want to let you know, people are going to say some really stupid things to you over the next few. He's like, they mean well. They just have no idea what to say. And they're really uncomfortable with just saying sorry or just listening. And it was really, because he would have gotten it so much more than, me losing a father, which is so much more natural than losing 2 really small children. But, he said that and it really it meant a lot that he called just to say that, but it was more like, hey, just be prepared.
Yeah.
Because people aren't good at that. Some people are gifted. A lot of people are just like, feel like I got to intervene. No, you don't.
You don't.
You don't.
And it doesn't help.
No.
All right.
Yeah. It just listen.
Yeah. I don't know how I know that, but I do. I haven't gone through this, but
I was going to say, it sounds like I'm listening to a Brene Brown video right now, sympathy versus empathy.
okay.
Sorry, you just took me there. And I was like, yeah, it's exactly what people want, because people want, even if they're not a fixer like you or you, they want to say the right thing. So you say, I'm getting divorced. Oh, well, at least you still have your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
my kid's failing out of school. Well, at least your other kid gets really good grades to go to great college.
Yeah.
Right.
So And that is from the Brene Brown video. So
Yeah.
I did not.
No,
That wasn't for me.
Who are we talking about?
yeah, and people are trying to like help you feel better. And,
Yeah.
like, it's like, I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
Like I know those things. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
That's not why I'm telling you this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you this because I want you to like empathize with me.
Right.
And,
Hear me.
or pray.
Let
with
me be in this.
Right. Let me have my
And
moment.
yeah.
Just like, and then of
Mhm.
mourning, as we
Mhm.
said, this is in a way kind of a death that
Right.
is ongoing, as you were saying.
Right.
But like,
Yeah.
it's and so yeah, I mean, I think that's as believers, to show the love of Christ. That's part of it,
Mhm.
right? And to come and to bear each other's burdens. Again,
Yeah.
we don't have to share them. I can't share that burden. I didn't
Right.
experience that.
Yeah.
But I can help by listening. I
Yeah.
can help by being there.
For sure.
I can help by helping you pick a better movie to go to next time.
And on that note, to go to the
He
movies
said,
right now.
Next time.
I wonder if you thought that.
Wow.
A fun fact, though. I do have one fun fact about this.
A fun fact.
Yeah.
Fun fact about divorce. Here we
Yeah.
go.
You're not going to know what it is. Do you want to know the highest divorce rate in the country? Highest divorce, most divorces in a country. What country is it? Yes.
Oh.
You are
China.
totally not going to guess it. Nope.
Where'd you guess?
China.
Not correct.
Well, the number of people.
Iran.
Oh my goodness. No.
No, I know. I was saying something crazy because you said I'd never guess it. So I just had to take a stab in the dark at something that makes no sense.
No, Mexico.
Negative.
Okay.
The Maldives.
Wow.
Yeah, because divorce is affordable
Okay.
and they want women to do whatever they just want. in that way.
Oh, wow.
Could you point out the Maldives on a map?
Near India.
Fair enough.
Well, that's bad news for me because we were going to go to London and Liverpool, but then you just changed where we were going for a vacation. That's not, that's not
No.
good. Is that why we're going? Dag nabbit. Okay. Thank you,
Man.
everybody. If you haven't subscribed, liked, done all that,
The beach is
please
beautiful.
do it. We will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.